I still don't see the point of this graduation. How can we graduate without receiving our ranks? It was the day of graduation and Zim was at my house, bombarding me with questions. That's not how humans work. After high school, it's up to us to decide what to do. Get a job, go to college, whatever you want, I explained. But how can you be sure that your choice is correct for your skill set? Humans are quite dumb. I doubt they are able to accurately determine that for themselves. It would be more effective for the graduating class to be evaluated, ranked, and assigned a position. That way society functions in a perfect, undisturbed order. I sighed. Do you ever think the way they run things on Earth aren't as perfect as they've convinced you they are? I mean, look at what happened to you. Before he could answer, Dad entered the room. All right, boys. Time to go and move on with your lives. I swear I heard him sniffle. Dad really wasn't the emotional type, but I guess graduation was an exception. Can we just get in the car before he starts crying again? Gaz asked, leaning against the doorway. When we arrived at the high school, Zim and I were separated since we were seated in alphabetical order. He never bothered to make up a last name, so the teachers just stuck him in the back. The entire senior class stood in line. Well, a cluttered line. Everyone was talking to each other, signing yearbooks, making dumb comments about me, but for once, I didn't care. I just stood there with a smile on my face, knowing that soon these losers that I was forced to grow up with would be long behind me. I could go off and do whatever I wanted, surrounded by the people I choose to be around. The future looked bright. But the sky looked strangely dark. I felt a tug on the sleeve of my graduation gown. Dipstink! We have to go, Zim said in a forced whisper. Seeing the urgency in his eyes, I didn't bother to ask questions and just complied. We almost snuck away completely unnoticed, but where are you two off to? Got some evil alien stuff to do? Moofy. Thankfully, I was prepared for this situation. Hey, Keith! Your sister's here to see you! I shouted. Keith burst out of his place in line and came running to us, wrapping Moofy in a tight hug. All she could do was glare at us as we ran away. Okay, are you gonna tell me what's happening? And does it have anything to do with that sky? I asked. Planet jackers, Zim replied. What? An alien race that steals planets to use as fuel for the sun their planet orbits. They've jacked the Earth once before, but I stopped them. Why are they back? It took me a second to process what he told me. Wait. These aliens stole the Earth more than once? Why didn't I know about this? Zim sighed. I tried to ask you for help, but you kicked me out of your house. Technically speaking, they have every right to take this planet, as it was never actually marked for Arkan conquest, but seeing as this is my current living situation— And mine! I interrupted. Yes, I didn't forget about you. Now come on! There isn't much time. We ran all the way back to Zim's base, hopped in the Voot, and took to the sky. Then we crashed into it. Weird. The sky is like some sort of TV screen. Yes, that's the shell that's currently enclosed around the planet. There should be an exit tunnel around here somewhere. While we were flying around aimlessly, I got a call from Gaz. Part of me wanted to ignore it, since I knew she was just going to scream at me, but ignoring her would probably only make her angrier. Dib, where are you? I know this looks bad, but the fate of the world is at stake. The fate of Dad's impending meltdown over you missing your graduation is at stake. Look, we'll be back as soon as we can. You'd better be. Dad's not happy. Over the phone, I could hear him screaming nonsensically. That's never a good sign. I hung up, and Zim finally found the exit tunnel. On the outside, I was met with the sight of an enormous metal sphere being towed through space. It made no sense to me that these aliens could steal entire planets just by tugging them along behind their little spaceship, but hey, I've seen weirder. Last time I cut through the shell, but we don't have time to come up with a diversion. We need to get into the ship and hit the release button, Zim explained. He handed me some sort of alien weapon. Once we get inside, shoot them with this. It'll knock them unconscious. Whatever you do, don't miss! After putting on our space gear, we jumped out of the Voot and onto the Planet Jacker's ship, and Zim used his pack legs to laser a hole through the top. Inside the ship were two larger aliens in battle armor. The smaller one turned to face us. Hey, what are you doing in our ship? Zim elbowed me in the stomach, causing me to fire the knockout blaster, just missing the Planet Jacker's head. I told you not to miss! The bigger alien turned around. I recognize that voice. Panicking, Zim took the blaster from me and started rapidly firing. In that moment, I did the only thing I could do. Duck and cover! After Zim got over his rampage, he took a few deep breaths, then turned to me. Were you watching? I'm not sure if I got them. I wasn't watching. I was trying to pretend I wasn't trapped in a small enclosed space with a psychotic alien shooting at everything, but both planet jackers appeared to be knocked out, so it was safe to assume that he hit them. Okay, great. Let's release the Earth and get back to the ceremony before Yaz kills me and or my dad has a mental breakdown. Zim shoved one of the unconscious aliens out of his seat and sat himself down at the ship's controls. Excellent. Hey, go check and see if their snack stash survived while I find the release button. It's not a proper raid unless we get their snacks. I just shrugged it off. Urkins are strange. I mean, I like snacks too, but they take it so seriously and so not seriously at the same time. I found a cupboard in the back of the ship. It was closed and it didn't appear to have taken any damage from Zim's outburst. I opened the doors and the shelves were fully stocked with foods I'd never heard of. Since we were kind of in a hurry and I didn't want to try and carry everything, I decided to only take a few bags of chips. When I reached down for one of the bags, it squeaked. Not a plastic squeak, it sounded like an alive kind of squeak. I got down on my knees to get a closer look. The bag wasn't sealed. Something was in there. Terrified, I slowly got closer to look inside, but it was too dark to see anything. Then I remembered the light on my phone, and I pointed it towards the inside of the bag. That was when I saw it. A pair of huge blue eyes, similar to Zim, squinted at the light. The creature let out a small cry, and I quickly put my phone away. I still didn't want to touch it, especially since I wasn't 100% sure what was in the bag, so I pointed the bag away from me and dumped out its contents. There was no denying it anymore. This was an Urkin, and from the looks of it, a baby. What are you doing here? I asked, though I was talking to myself more so than I was talking to the Urkin. At that point, Zim had found the button and released the Earth from the planet jacker's shell, and he made his way to the back to check on me. Dib, human! It's time to go! Those planet jackers won't be out forever! Zim, you'd better come take a look at this.